This is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardinez, to use this as educational materials.
Good day everyone, we are Group 4 and our topic is Contemporary Global Governance with Integration of COVID-19. Global governance refers to the system of rules, institutions, agreements, and cooperation used by countries and other international actors to address problems that cross national borders. It is important because issues such as pandemics, climate change, international trade, security, and human rights cannot always be solved by one country only. COVID-19 demonstrated this clearly. The pandemic spread across borders and required cooperations among governments, scientists, international organizations, businesses, and communities. WHO declared COVID-19 a public health emergency of international concern in January 2020 and characterized it as a pandemic in March 2020. Today, we'll discuss globalization, international institutions, the United Nations, internationalism, and globalisms, the challenges of global governance, and the continuing relevance of states.
So I'll be talking about global governance COVID-19. Global governance is not the same as world government. There is no single world government controlling every country. Instead, global governance involves state, international organizations, businesses, civil society, and other actors working through rules, agreements, institutions, and cooperation. COVID-19 became a major example of global governance because the virus crossed borders rapidly. Countries needed to share health information, research, medical knowledge, vaccines, and resources. The World Health Organization coordinated with governments and international partners to detect transmission, reduce the spread of disease, protect vulnerable populations, and strengthen health systems. The United Nations also organized a coordinated response addressing health, economic, humanitarian, and human rights consequences. Therefore, COVID-19 showed that global problems require operation beyond individual government.
Is reimposing a full lockdown on Kuala Lumpur and 5 states to curb a third wave of COVID-19. The 2-week lockdown begins on
Effects of globalization on governments. Globalization increases the connection between countries through trade, investment, technology, information, and movement of people and services. It creates opportunities for governments because international trade and investment can contribute to economic growth, employment, technology transfer, and participation in global markets. However, globalization also creates challenges. Governments must respond to international competition, economic inequality, supply chain disruptions, environmental problems, and financial risks. They must balance international cooperation with their responsibility to protect their own citizens. COVID-19 showed this balance very clearly. Countries depended on international supply chains for medical products and other essential goods, but the pandemic also exposed vulnerabilities caused by excessive dependence on international systems. Therefore, globalization does not make governments unnecessary. Instead, it requires governments to become more cooperative, adaptable, and capable of managing international connections.
Attributes of global corporations. Global corporations, also called multinational enterprises, operate across national borders. Their important characteristics include: first, international operations. They have business activities, subsidiaries, affiliates, or partners in different countries. Second, global value chains. Their production may be divided among several countries. One country may provide raw materials, another may manufacture components, and another may handle distribution. Third is international investment. Global corporations can invest directly in foreign economies. Fourth, technology and knowledge transfer. Their operations can introduce new technologies, skills, and management practices. Finally, is global influence. Because these corporations operate across borders, their decisions can affect employment, trade, investment, and even government policies. The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated the importance of global corporations because international production networks were involved in the supply of medicines, equipment, technology, food, and other essential goods.
Institutions that govern international relations. Several institutions help countries cooperate internationally. First, the United Nations or UN. It provides a major forum for countries to discuss global problems and cooperate on peace, human rights, development, humanitarian assistance, and international law. Second is the World Health Organization or WHO. It coordinates international health cooperation and support countries during health emergencies. Third is the World Trade Organization or WTO. It provides international trade rules, negotiations, mechanisms, and a system for addressing trade disputes. Fourth, the International Monetary Fund or IMF. It works with countries on international monetary and financial stability. It's the World Bank Group, which provides financing and development assistance to countries. These institutions do not replace national governments. Instead, they provide mechanisms through which government can cooperate on problems that cross borders.
Internationalism versus globalism. Internationalism emphasizes cooperation among nations. Countries remain separate and sovereign, but they work together through agreements, alliances, and international institutions. For example, countries cooperating through the United Nations or working together during a pandemic can demonstrate internationalism. Globalism, on the other hand, emphasizes a stronger understanding of the world as an interconnected system. It focuses on global relationships and issues that go beyond individual national boundaries. A simple way to remember the difference is internationalism means countries cooperating with one another, while globalism emphasizes the interconnectedness of the world as a whole. COVID-19 involved both ideas. Countries retain their governments and sovereignty, but the worldwide nature of the pandemic showed how interconnected their health, economics, and societies were.
Rules and function of the United Nations. The United Nations was established in 1945 and currently has 193 member states. It is a major area of works including first, maintaining international peace and security. The United Nations can be used in diplomacy, mediation, peacekeeping, and other mechanisms that can be prevent and manage conflicts. Second, protecting the human rights. Third, delivering the humanitarian assistance during conflict and disaster. Fourth, supporting sustainable development and climate action. Fifth, uphold the international law. During COVID-19, the United Nations supported a coordinated global response addressing not only a health concern but also a socio-economic, humanitarian, human rights consequences. This demonstrates why the United Nations remains an important institution in global governance.
Challenges of global governance in the 21st century. One major challenge is pandemics and global health emergencies. COVID-19 showed that disease can spread rapidly across borders and international preparedness is essential. Second challenge is climate change because environment problems affect multiple countries. A third challenge is economic inequality. The benefits of globalization are not always distributed equally. A fourth challenge is geopolitical conflict and nationalism, which can international cooperation more difficult. Another challenge is technology and misinformation, especially because digital information can spread globally almost instant. COVID-19 showed both the strength and weaknesses of global governance. Countries were to cooperate, but differences in resources, policies, and access to health technologies also created inequalities. This challenge show why stronger international cooperation and better preparation are necessary.
Relevance of the state amid globalization. Globalization does not eliminate the importance of states. Governments continue to make laws, collect taxes, provide public service, protect national security, regulate business, and respond to the emergencies. COVID-19 was a strong example. Although international organizations provides coordination and technical assistance, national governments were still responsible for implementing policies with their territories. Governments decide to measure as possible. Governments decide to measure such as public health regulations, border policies, economic assistance, vaccination programs, and healthcare responses. WHO itself emphasized that implementation of international pandemic measures remains under the authority of sovereign states. Therefore, globalization changed the role of the states, but it does not remove it. The modern state must operate two levels: protecting national interests while operating internationally.
Finally, the state remains essential. Globalization does not eliminate national governments. Instead, it makes effective cooperations between national governments and international institutions even more important. Our main lesson is simple. Global problems require cooperations, but effective global governance still depends on responsible states and institutions. Thank you, everyone. Peace out.